Like scales, arpeggios are something that you're going to come across a lot in music. So it's worth giving them some extra practice in all the different possible keys so that you're already comfortable with them when you come across an arpeggio in a new song or piece you're learning. And what is an arpeggio? Well, let's come to the piano to find out. An arpeggio is essentially a broken chord, which is a chord played one note at a time. I could play all of these notes together, which would be called a blocked chord. But a broken chord is where you take the notes of any chord and you play them one at a time, either going up or down. And that is an arpeggio. A chord played one note at a time, going up or down the piano. So will you take let's take finger 2 of the left hand, and don't worry about doing any fancy fingering. We're just going to play kind of this one finger style and play with me the C 1 octave arpeggio. So basically we've taken this C major chord and we've added an extra C on top, kind of a duplicate of this note down here. We have do, mi, so, high do, so, mi, do. So let's play the arpeggio, the 1 octave arpeggio, up and down just with one finger. Finger number 2 of the left hand. Try it with me. Go. Do, mi, so, mi, do. Now let's sing the letter names. Go. C, E, G, C, G, E, C. Great. Now, of course, this isn't how we're going to play it. I just wanted you to get comfortable with where those notes were. Now, let me show you the advanced fingering to play an arpeggio, so we're not just playing it with one finger. So we're going to start with finger 5 on bass C. Then our finger 4 is going to reach up to E. Our finger 2, you'll notice, is already on G, so we'll just play G with finger 2, and then our finger 1 is going to reach up to this high C. Meanwhile, keep your finger 2 right there on G because we're coming right back down. Finger 4 is already on E, and then we just have to reach down finger 5 to C. And that covered all the notes of our C major arpeggio. So again, the fingering is 5, 4 reaches up to E, finger 2 plays G, finger 1 plays C, finger 2 plays G, finger 4 plays E, finger 5 plays C. 5, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 5. Now, let's talk about the technique for doing this. You'll notice my hand kind of rotates a little bit. I always want to line up with the finger that's playing. For example, when my pinky's playing, I don't want to be in this shape. I want to kind of line up my hand and arm with my pinky. Then I line up with finger 4. I line up with finger 2. Now you can see that I'm kind of turning my hand a little bit to make it more comfortable. See this kind of rotating motion of my hand as I play the arpeggio? Good. Now, press pause, and I'd like you to try that a few times. Again, let your hand kind of rotate and align behind the finger that's playing. You're not trying to keep all the fingers in that position. It used to be with the pentascale, we could kind of rest all of our fingers on the notes that we're going to play. Now you'll see my thumb is eventually going to play here, but I'm not trying to cover everything at the same time. That will create tension. Just let your hand shift from note to note and be okay with not touching all the notes that you're playing as you play them. Press pause to try that out a few times on your own, and then press play when you're ready to go on. Now let's try to play the 1 octave arpeggio in our relative minor key, A minor. The notes we'll need for our A minor arpeggio are right here. Notice we have our A minor triad with an extra A on top. Let's try to play it with our left hand. So take left hand finger 5, place it on A. Then we're going to just reach up a little bit with our finger 4 to C. Finger 2 is already on E. And then we'll rotate our hand a little bit to get finger 1 up here to A. Then back down, finger 2 on E, finger 4 on C. And then our finger 5 reaches down a little bit to A. One more time. We have 5, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 5. Now, will you try that with me? Place your left hand finger 5 on A. Go. 5, 4, 2, 1, Great. Now press pause and try that a couple of times on your own until you feel really comfortable with it. Then press play to go on. Okay, let's try the C major 1-octave arpeggio with the right hand now. Once again, let's just use finger 2 so we get used to where these notes are. I'm starting on middle C. You'll notice an interesting pattern with arpeggios. We have a skip of a third, a skip of a third, and then to get to our high do, we have to skip up a fourth. It's just good to notice that anomaly about arpeggios. You might be tempted to do this kind of pattern, but we have to watch out for that fourth there. Okay, take your finger 2 and let's say the letter names as we go up and down the arpeggio. Go. C, E, G, C, G, E, C. Now sing it in solfege with me. Play with finger 2, go. Do, mi, so, mi, do. Great. Now let's try it with our advanced fingering. So our finger 1 will be on C. And again, we're not going to try and touch all of the notes. You're going to reach out to one note at a time and then let the fingers gather back in. So you're keeping your hand in the most neutral, relaxed shape possible. So with finger 1 on C, then we're going to reach over to E with finger 2, and then we're also going to reach one more time, finger 3 to G. Now I recognize this is a slightly different fingering than we use for the left hand. Again, we have to accommodate that our hands are built opposite. So we're going to go finger 1, then finger 2 goes to E, finger 3 reaches to G, so we've stretched twice in a row. Stretch up, and then our finger 5 has to get up to C, which is a little bit of a stretch, and then finger 3 plays G, finger 2 plays E, finger 1 plays C. So the fingering is 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1. And then by the time I get here, my fingers have gathered back down to that position rather than trying to stay in that stretch position, which creates tension. Press pause and on your own, try that arpeggio. Make sure you're using the correct fingering. 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1. Try it nice and slowly. Pause to try it on your own, then play to go on. Okay, now let's try the A minor arpeggio with our right hand. We'll place finger 1 on A, then finger 2 will reach up to C, finger 3 will reach up to E. Remember, we have 2 reaches in a row, and then finger 5 up to A, and then back down. So always try and keep in mind what notes you're headed for. We've got this A minor triad with an A on top. 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1. Now press pause and try that a few times on your own, then press play to go on. Okay, I'd like to show you a routine you can use for practicing both the C major and the A minor scales and arpeggios using the metronome. Remember, we practice these so your fingers can get agile and strong, so eventually you're able to play these scales really fast. So any advanced song you get that uses scales or arpeggios, you're prepared. Now, please start slow. And that's why we use the metronome. It kind of forces you to keep at a slow, steady beat so you can perfect your technique before you try playing fast. Once you start playing fast, you can't really work on your technique. So it's like laying this foundation for your future success. So I've got my metronome set to 88 beats per minute. And I'm going to start with my right hand this time. Here's how I could play through my scales. I'm going to do C major 2 times up and down. I'm going to do it again. Then when I get to the bottom, I'm going to go straight into my arpeggio. But 2 clicks per note. See how I kind of slowed down here? Because the arpeggio is a little trickier and I want to give time. I'm going to do that 2 times as well. Good. Very important as you do the arpeggio is to not try and stretch to all the notes at once. Just think of one stretch at a time and then let the fingers gather. Stretch, then gather. You're never going to hold the fingers in that stretch position the whole time. You just reach, then gather them together. Fingers always are coming back to this neutral position after each reach. Okay, as you get better with the arpeggios, eventually you'll be able to start playing them faster. But for now, let's do 2 clicks on each note. So each key is kind of like a half note. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and then you can go on and do it in A minor. I'm going to do that scale again. Keep your fingers close to the keys, good finger shape, glide across. Now I'm going to do harmonic minor. And do it one more time. Now here comes the arpeggio. 2 clicks on each note. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, and one more time. Good. And then I do that whole thing again with my left hand. C major, up and down 2 times, then the arpeggio 2 times. A minor, a natural minor 2 times, a harmonic minor 2 times, a arpeggio 2 times. If you'll do that every day, your fingers are going to get really good at scales and arpeggios, and you're going to gradually be able to increase your metronome speed. All right, guys, time to practice your arpeggios. Come on, hop to it. There we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Croak, 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 croak. Ah, nothing soothes the soul like a good amphibian arpeggio.